mass shooter, of course, at Perry High School, identified as Dylan Butler. He is a trans activist, seemingly. He might be part of the community himself, not sure, but killing one, injuring five, seemingly on all his media posts, on his social media posts, he, they pronouns, all that stuff. And no doubt, this was a tragic thing that happened yesterday in Iowa. Again, we're seeing this again more and more of people in that community, trans activists, taking it out on those who perhaps oppose it. But this is, again, like the trans shooter in Nashville, something that it's repeated again. We still don't know the trans manifest because the FBI keeps holding it. But this story is going to disappear very quickly. So before it does, because the media wants nothing to do with the story, but before it gets away from the consciousness of people, we want to talk about it very quickly. Jacob, your thoughts on it? It's a terrible
Well,
tragedy.
say the disproportionate amount of crimes and shooting crimes,
yes,
gun crime again perpetrated against children. Against children, we saw it in Nashville. We've seen it again. Can you imagine if somebody who could be identified or misidentified as a Christian nationalist did that? They'd never live it down. Never. But if a transgender person perpetrates the same crime against children, shooting little kids, it's all swept under the rug. This is how disgusting the mainstream media is.
No, there's no doubt. And obviously, the one thing that has not been addressed is, of course, the SSRI issue.
Yes.
The SSRI issue is a big
side effect of those serotonin suppressing drugs. This is absolutely correct. The very high rate of psychotic dysfunction among transgender people, double the national average at least. Even if the statistics available are accurate, it would be double the national average of people reliant upon these serotonin suppressant medications. This is for psychotics. This is not okay. Even things like Valium are abused, but we're not talking here about Valium. We're talking about serotonin suppressants. We're talking about serious medications. These are for psychotic. In other words, the rate of psychotic illness, diagnosed psychosis among transgender people, it must be at least double the national average.
Yeah, compared to heterosexuals, yeah, it's more than twice as likely. More than twice as likely. And around 25% of them are certainly using SSRI. So quite a number of the community, quarter of the community.
1 out of 4.
Yeah. And this is one of the reasons why they're overrepresented. Even the media doesn't want to admit it. They're overrepresented in all kinds of mass shootings, not just this one, all kinds of mass shootings.
All kinds.
SSRI seems to be part of the big equation in many of these shootings.
But they say the problem are the Christians who oppose it.
Yeah, because it's usually blamed on those who oppose it. Exactly. Usually blame on those who oppose it. Now, the AP is already going at it, saying that he was bullied. People went against him. And so this is his way of releasing all that
Shooting
tension.
little kids is the way you get back at people who bully you.
Incredible. Yeah, this is a new normal. He got tired of bullying, says AP Press. Classmates, it says, of the shooter. He was being bullied because he was confused. And of course, this escalated recently. And then obviously the SSRIs. And then, of course, social media scrubbed his account. He can't get a lot of information now because it's all being taken off the internet. And so now you're not going to find anything. So it's going to go away, just like the shooter in Nashville, just like the shooter here. It's going to go away very quickly because you know what? I don't think people care that it happened to be little kids who were shot. This is horrible. This is a horrible thing, but the account, TikTok's been scrubbed, Instagram's been scrubbed. So we're not going to hear too much about it, but I think people need to hear about it here because it's not going to be the last time. I believe.
Absolutely. Because we're going to ignore it, because the mainstream media is going to cover it up, we're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
They don't want to address the issue. And because of that, children will die.
Yeah. We already have been repeating it. We've had Colorado, we've had Nashville, we've had Aberdeen, we've had Denver, and now Iowa. And these are just in recent times, but they're doing the same kind of gaslighting, or a term I heard last week, Gaza lighting. They're doing the same kind of thing. It's, transphobia or homophobia, or it's Islamophobia, where they play up the victim mentality and they get away with it. It's the poor trans. Getting back to the SSIs too, that combined with the hormone blockers and the puberty
Yes.
blockers,
Yes.
treatments, it's a dangerous cocktail. Just it's been proven.
Yeah.
And
So on the
this-
one hand, we
serious.
pump the SSRIs, and on the other hand, we combine it with all the hormone therapy and transitional drugs, which even doctors have said we don't even know. There's no study. There's no long-term study of what these drugs can do. And you're mixing it, as Davey said, with the cocktail. What do you expect to happen? It's just going to be absolute violent.